Here's to the ones that we got. Cheers to the wish you were here, but you're not. Cause the drinks bring back all the memories of everything we've been through. Toast to the ones that today. Toast to the ones that we lost on the way. Cause the drinks bring back all the memories. And the memories bring back though. There's a time that I remember. Cause I did not know no pain. When I believed in forever, everything will stay the same. Now my hope you like December. When somebody say your name. Cause I can't reach out to call you. So I know I'll be one day. Everybody hurts sometimes. Everybody hurts someday. Everything gon' be alright. Always a constant same. Here's to the ones that we got. Cheers to the wish you were here, but you're not. Cause the drinks bring back all the memories of everything we've been through. Toast to the ones that today. Toast to the ones that we lost on the way. Cause the drinks bring back all the memories. There's a time that I remember when I never felt so low. And I felt all the hatred just to go for a start. And my heart feel like an ember, and it's not enough to die. I carry these torches for you, but you know I'll never try. Yeah, everybody hurts sometimes, everybody hurts someday. Everything gon' be alright, always a constant same. Here's to the ones that we got. Cheers to the wish you were here, but you're not. Cause the drinks bring back all the memories of everything we've been through. Toast to the ones that today. Toast to the ones that we lost on the way. Cause the drinks bring back all the memories. Memories bring back.
Prof. Bambang Saharjo, Guru Besar di Fakultas Kehutanan IPB yang baru-baru ini mendapatkan John M.Agr Prize.
To you, yes, my love to you. Yes, my love to you. To you. 私は私、あなたはあなたと
We have different vegetation. That's why. The thing is like it's just like this is what we are trying to do in Thailand and trying to be based fire. And lately we have a community water resource management, and it's time to combine them. I think when you develop it, you need to combine them now, integrate them together. So it's going to be a long slide. I will go to the some of them, skip some of the good practices, but this is the way I will talk. So we start with the concept. Okay, this is the combination, like I said, between two way of approach, how to solve the problem. And it's true, from my understanding, that wherever you have more water, you have less fire. That's always happened. And when you have water, you can create more income and you improve the livelihood of the community. Then when they have enough income, you can sustain your approach. If you try to approach them, you give them everything, you give them knowledge, you give them the way to do, you talk with them, but you cannot generate income. Sooner or later, it will not go on, it will die. You need support all the time. You do the pilot and at the end, but they need to sustain themselves. Okay, what we would like to achieve is the sustainability and adaptability, because we also have a climate change, which is coming soon, I think, because everything is point to that direction, that we're gonna have longer fire season, and we're gonna have heavy rainfall, flooding, more of this typhoon, hurricanes, and many, many more. And this year, you see from the news that from the global warming, that the heat wave hit Europe, hit the US, and now the Siberian is burning. It's so strange. And a lot up in North America, in the US, is up north of the California that burning, but the southern part is still okay, the prolonged drought. So our water management is kind of important part to get around these issues, along with the community-based fire management. And from, you see that I graduate from the US as well, so I learned long before from this guy Aldo Leopold, that he has a land ethic, that well, we have to be coexist with nature in order to survive. So he tried to pursue or make people believe that in order to do so, you need to manage the land correctly. So I'm not going to go into the detail. You can read this later. So conservation is a state of harmony between man and land. And this land ethic thing create the land manager, let's say occupation, let's just say that, or you can do it by yourself in your own land. That what in the US, most of the people, they have a big land, so they have to manage. So this is a very good way. And this is coexist with what we are doing in Thailand from our latest King Rama IX. Is similar concept. So I usually call Aldo Leopold father of the land of the US, and King Rama IX father of the land of Thailand. So that's why I think like the idea are similar and the same, and we can put that in work. So this is just a definition you can find from internet easily. And also in order to do so, you need the agroforestry. Okay, but in Thailand, our king called it like tree forest for benefit, which is similar thing. You know, it's the same concept, just change the name, I think, because the way that they roll out and practice are the same. You know, it just want to sustain sustainable development down to the community level. Okay. Okay. Oops, sorry. And okay, this is agroforestry, just like combining everything together. You all know about that part. Okay. So this is you have he would like to combine three things together to solve the water security, food security, and public, private, and people partnership. So we use three things together: understanding first, then you need the connection to the people, and then you develop what they really need, which is not the same everywhere, but similar. So the goal is to sustain themselves, but they have to be self-reliant, okay, for their own and the communities. Then it can expand later. And this kind of thing take time. Not simple. That people may think it's simple, but take time. And we try to combine them with the technology. So this is just the definition what it is, that what he said. So many of this. I just give this as example, and this is the three step that would like to follow: the moderation, the reasonableness that you need, and finally you have the risk management, that you prepare people if like or you can say disaster risk management, or you can say the disaster resilience, whatever that gonna happen in the future. If the people they are well prepared for this, then they will pass it. They will get past those. They will cope it much easier. Okay, and you get this through the knowledge and virtue to be promoted. Okay, this is okay. I will roll out later a bit what we said. Okay. We have in Thailand for water resource management, we have 4 levels now. Okay, we have community level. I will talk about that in detail. Provincial level, we have national level, and now we try to connect with ASEAN. So we have ASEAN Hydroinformatics data center, which we talk about all the hydrology information. Okay, and to do the community level, we use the science and technology to help people to manage their land. Okay, like for example, technology we use GIS, we use GPS, we use remote sensing. Okay, you try, and then we use the map, existing map, try to get people to understand their landscape first. You understand your landscape, the problem with the water surrounding, then you can manage the land better. Okay, then we try to do whatever the check dam, how to manage the zoning in the area. Okay now. But all have to begin with the people to buy in your idea at the first place, and you need to have good leadership in that community. Okay, you can push it if people don't have not buy in yet, but you have very strong leader, and that leader will push it, but it will take longer than what you already communicate with the people and understand what they need and what you can give it to them, then we combine them. So everywhere is not the same, but the purpose is for the water security and the income that you need to make sure that it will go on. Okay. Currently, we have since last year. Now the number is going up. It slowly. It has been working for almost 20 years. It's going more and more, expanding, and some of these community water management are doing the community forest fire management as well. I mean, like community-based fire management as well. So the idea to combine this together, I just thought that, hey, it's time to really do it together. Okay. And this is the example that in each community we're talking about throughout Thailand that participate or has been selected to get transfer the knowledge from first started from under the Royal Project, and then later when this community gets strong, they can expand to surrounding communities. Okay, you have to see the map. Some of them need to use GIS, and we have like open software such as QGIS, and they some take time, some learn quickly. It depends. Okay, but you need this at the beginning, this process, so people understand their land. Okay, if they not understand the land when we talk, different. Okay, we cannot connect. So you have to connect first. Then you try to understand, and then you develop together with them. Okay. So this is like you have, and then community level, you have to link up to the provincial level. This is just the example. We have 76 provincial level center. That this is example of one of the daily information that not daily, it's updated every hour to change if it's rain, changing. People can go in and check this from the community. If you tell them where to check and they learn. We also have the application, but that is like for the whole country. But this for each province that they can go in and check. Okay. And now this is like the 20. It's starting progress. Now only 20 from 76 provinces that's already linked. Okay, we have long way to go. So, but it is going, and this is the central. Feed all the data to provincial level and try to link to regional level after that. The good example, okay, this is a good example with the Lao River basically up north. I think this is not Florida. It's not really connected to the one I shared. But anyway, Lao River basically this is a good example because there's a deforestation in the past and some forest fire in the past. This is northern Thailand. And you get the program in and you try to rebuild it. Okay, you try to do the reforestation and you try to get them to understand how to live harmony with the nature. Okay, and you do the reforestation to the upstream, you can generate more water. Okay, for that. And you try to introduce different kind of like this, in this case, it's a coffee. So it kind of can generate more income, okay, than just cut down the tree. So this is a tree forest and full benefit. Then you have to find the market and not just let them plant it. You have to do the whole process so they can sell. And if some of them are famous, they can export, something like that, okay? This is just the example. So you can see what we have been doing Okay, and you can get to the youth to learn how to well, get the reforestation mindset, or well, preservation mindset again, not conservation. This is the example of it. This is the water demand supply diagram that you need to know in your area. So you know how much water you need. You know how much water you lack of. So you try to get more water in your community. Okay, this is another example. This is Hue Palok. It's just a new one. This is used to plant opium. In this particular province, burn a lot, but still, we will do something in this area next year because it's burned more than 1 million light, 1 million right. It's just like I don't know, let's say 300,000 hectare every year. Okay, so we will do something more about it over there. But this is what have been doing by the king and the foundation, Utokpat Foundation and Hydroinformatics Institute, that they try to improve the community to have more water and get more income. So this is the drone picture to that community. So you have to have this water map. You have to know where the water come from, where water will flow, okay? And you create this natural resource security, water security, food economic security. This is the last one is very important. You need the economy. You know, if you cannot create it, all of the previous that you have been working will not sustain for sure. We saw the fail before because it cannot generate income, and the people like, okay, we cannot do this. We have to, go back to burning, go back to do whatever we had been doing. Okay, so this is the example of the education and natural resources. You can read this later. This and this is also needed. The zoning of your community, you have to do that, so you know which area you can use, which area you cannot use. And furthermore, in 2000, the year 2019, we came out with the new law, national law for national park and community forest. So all of this have to be done and certified by the government, but it's gonna take a very long time to do it because you have to do the survey the whole country. They start doing it. The government said you have to do it less than a year to finish it, but 2 years already now it's not finished, and I don't think it's gonna finish soon. So, but it will keep going. Okay. This is an example, and then you try to link to the UN Sustainable Development Goals as well. Food security, no hunger, and then the disaster resilience. You can read this later. This is example that what we do. You have to have the rule of law with the similar to what community-based fire management doing, and we have the natural resources management, and you do the education, you do the social development, and then you do the people, public, and public, private, and people partnership, and it has to go round and round until it works. Okay, this is the example of the community-based fire management that they came up with the rule, community forest conservation within for that particular community. Other might have differently. Okay, the land use management rule that they set for their own area. Okay. This area also have the ship cultivation, and now they're changing from the ship cultivation slash and burn ship cultivation to rotation clock. They don't move much anymore. Used to be move around, but now they not move much anymore. Okay. And the sustainable management, what are the rules for that particular community? In this case, it's a Hue Parot up in Chiang Rai, which is a northern Thailand, close to Myanmar. Okay, community regulation. This example that you can look and compare and study later. But this important thing that you need to have is the penalty of the breaking the rules that everybody agree. So you need to have that. And lately, just like 2 weeks ago, we are now for the community forest management, we putting the low cost air quality sensor in the forest for the people. But before you do that, you need to get all the people, member of the village to agree to have consensus that they allow you to put those equipment in their forested area. And now we also gonna add camera that just say the IP camera, so they can stay in the village and they can see what's going on in the forest by not have to go up to the mountain and take a look. So that also have to go into the community committees or to get passed, and finally they allow us to test it. But the problem is the same: the signal of the internet that we need to transfer the image and the information that measure from the sensor in the forest. So far, someday okay with with the solar cell, but then this is a rainy season, so when it's rain a lot, you have not enough charging, so it's not working. Probably the same with Indonesia. When you have a lot of smoke cover for weeks, then you have this kind of problem. Okay. Challenge that we face: community buy-in at the beginning. If they don't buy in, that's the big problem. All levels need to get involved. You cannot leave somebody behind. So it's sometimes very slow. Okay, you have to get the economy going too. First, you can get the funding in, but the economy they need to see income. They need to see, like in the movie, say, show me the money, something like that, to get it work. And then you try to build the conservation and preservation mindset with the kid, with all the community, and then if they succeed, then you expand it to the nearby village communities, or you can get them to be a teacher from this village to that village, like try to matchmaking, and then need to be a sustainability in the holistic approach. Like you have to do the whole thing. You're not leaving something behind. So, like I said, not that simple to say. Okay. Oops, sorry. And this is opportunity. You can restore the degraded land, blah blah blah, and then you can get the international collaboration. Like now could be, I don't know, what work here in Thailand might be good for Indonesia. What good in Indonesia can be good in Thailand. So we'll see about that. This is what he think macro, like global, do locally, and then we start from the small and try to connect it to make it big. And this is the queen was said. The king would like to manage water. The queen would like to manage the forest. So it's just like, and then this is the concept, the understanding, the connectivity, the connection, and the developing mindset of the sustainability have to be through all the local participation at the beginning. Okay, you cannot leave them behind if you want to get them to fully participate. Okay, and in conclusion, the holistic combination approach of both need to, in the future, I hope, or now already some area. So don't forget to integrate the indigenous knowledge, you cannot leave that behind with our current knowledge and wisdom. So all have to when you do prescribed burning, you have to learn cultural burning as well, because they have been managed land for, I don't know, 10,000 years with no problem. And now we use new technology, then we create problem. Start with conservation, perhaps go to preservation, environmentalism, or even go further, indeed ecology. As a land manager of the land ethic idea, okay, now you need it. Sufficient economy, you need that, and sustainability and adaptation. Adaptation is quite difficult, but that's what we are looking for. And you think globally, you act locally. And the climate action, you need to do it now. You cannot wait, okay? Because it's climate crisis already. You see that many disasters happen. I cannot explain why, but the global warming, climate change, yeah, probably. But we there is some of them still deny. But most of us, I guess, agree that we have this climate change crisis happen. And then this year, Earth Day theme is to restore our Earth. It's maybe not too late to do so. Then this Sitting Bull guy from the American Indian, that he's saying, let us put our mind together and see what life we can make for our children. What we are doing now, for me, I'm not doing for myself. That's what I'm thinking. That's why I keep doing it. I'm doing for my children, the next generation. So I think that's all that I'm gonna say. They have some question that would like to ask, but this is, you can ask yourself, like the community-based fire management in your country, and then the education with both are good or not good. The land manager, is it needed here? Do we have it around in this region already or not? And then well, your country will overcome your poverty or not? Difficult, huh? Some of them say yes. And don't forget the indigenous knowledge and wisdom that we need to combine them. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Veerachai, for your excellent talk. Let's give appreciation to Dr. Veerachai by sending thumbs up or clapping in reaction. Please do. Okay, thank you. Thank you, dear audience. And as Dr. Veerachai mentioned, that please type your question. If you have any question to Dr. Veerachai, please type your question on the chat room and put also your institution. We are moving now to our next speaker, Professor Dr. Bambang Saharjo. His talk would be on research on Indonesia on greenhouse gas emission assessment from forest and land fires. May I introduce Professor Bambang first? Yes, here's the long CV of Professor Bambang. Professor Dr. Bambang Saharjo was born in Jambi, Sumatra, November 10, 1964. His bachelor from IPB, Indonesia, in 1987. His master from Kyoto University, Japan, 1996. And his doctoral degree from Kyoto University also in 1999. And he received his professorship in the Faculty of Forestry IPB in 2007. From here, we can see he has also long professional positions as seen in the screen. He joined the Faculty of Forestry IPB in 1990 and has been the Dean of Faculty of Forestry in 2011-2015. Currently, he is the Executive Director of Regional Fire Management Resource Center, Southeast Asia. Professor Bambang has also received some awards. Among them are Canadian Forest Service Merit Award from Canadian Forest Service, Natural Resource Canada in 2004, and Global Landscape Fire Awards, Global Fire Monitoring Center, University of Freiburg, Germany in 2019, and the last one in 2019, he received John Maddox Prize in London. And he has long-term collaboration research with NASA on fire emission and red REDD plus since 2013 until now. What an excellent CV, Prof. Bambang. Ladies and gentlemen, now I'm pleased to welcome Prof. Bambang to share his talk. You have 30 minutes. Please, Prof. Bambang.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Lailan, my old friends, Veerachai, Dr. Ma, and all the other participants. Today, I would like to share with you what actually we have done regarding the research, especially on greenhouse gas emissions. There are actually many things been done, but because of time, I just select several of it. And then, of course, they will link what we are doing until today. Maybe my presentation is quite different with Chai, because I will use many pictures. I would like to see what actually we are doing in the ground. I will use my share screen. Okay, I think you can see the title, yeah, Research of Indonesian Greenhouse Gas Emission Assessment from Forests and Fires. So you see, if we are talking about emissions, there is full of uncertainty, starting when you got the samples, you analyzed, and then you make a models and everything. And then I will start with this one, yeah. As introduction, yeah. I think most of you knows about this, but I would like just to make a headline on it. First, this is written by my old friends, Johans. Fires in humid tropical forests, both natural and anthropogenic in origin, have been a source of disturbance over the millennia. But large intense fires have been relatively infrequent period to anthropogenic and anthropogenic land use change. There is also another views that the fire in Indonesia have consequences from the local to global scale. It is because of the transboundary, etc., including burning forests that is home to endemic and endangered flora and fauna, emitting haze that compromises human health and impact economies across the region. And also converting peatlands from a major carbon sinks to the major source of CO2. This is also what we would like to discuss with you. And then identifying the source of fires, ignition, and then use chain classes associated with fire ignition is a key factor for reducing fire on the landscape, as this will allow us to more pointedly target management and policy intervention. The problem of forest fires cannot be observed merely from a single viewpoint. It must be seen expansively in various contexts. Then forests and land areas which are supposedly decided as the green zones by the state are being misused by local actors. And then the key component to understand changing fire regime in the tropic is to identify the source of fire ignition and the land use or land cover change classes associated with fire ignition. Then next, I will show you the video that I've taken from space.com to see how one group researchers already have a model or monitoring that look like the real one. I think maybe this method could be one of the solution for reduction of the uncertainty. Okay, please enjoy. This video is just published last month. Yeah? This is represent this twin in US and Canada. See here, yeah, like eruptions, but these fires produce the emission. So from here we can see the movement of smoke. Yeah? So many data could be taken from here. Okay, actually 2 days ago, I present this video also in front of the international webinar that I attend. And then the second one, maybe you can see how actually the fires occurs on the peak. This is at the plantation. Sorry. Yeah, sorry. To pass. This is taken by helicopter. Happened in South Sumatra. Okay, and the other challenge is next, yeah. This one, yeah. Below the ground, actually there's still pit there and burn. Yeah, so they will affect also when you try to suppress it with your equipment. Yeah, you thought that maybe the fire stopped already, but you see, even though at the top they already put the soil, but because the below ground there's still pit, yeah, with certain depth, and it burn this kind of situation, then will produce emission. This taken from Rio province when I went there with Professor Marco Horem from University of Maryland now. So why I saw this video, because later on we would like to discuss with you the high emissions for Indonesia in 2019 is because of this pitch, and this is also the background why then in 2016 our government established what we call is the Badan Restorasi Gambut or pit restoration area. Okay, and then this is another story. I think before the Chai already mentioned also that it will cause also the transport has pollution if you cannot let those fire, especially on pit. This is in Rio, yeah, that cannot be stopped, yeah, because they will continue, yeah, because you burn the biomass there. And then this is already what I said before, yeah. This is I saw this figures many times because this kind of remind us that be careful when you're dealing with pit fires because the emission will increase. Yeah, it depends on your effort. If you have good willing and then have effort, then maybe you can reduce the fire and finally could be reduce the greenhouse gases. Otherwise, the fire will like this, and also they combine with the smokes. This is, you can see here, this is fire in Indonesia in 2019 is about 1.6 million hectare. And here in 2015 is just 2.6 million. You can see this why this is increased because this is due to the peat burns. Okay, and then I communicate also already with Mark Perrington. Yeah, this is his comment and also found in the press release that we closely monitor the intensity of fires and smoke they emit. Approximately half of the local persistence have been passed. It is clear that these fires are unusual and causing significant concern. In Indonesia, burning pits can smolder at low temperatures and underground is the most significant concern as it is releasing carbon which has been stored for 10 or thousands of years. Some of this carbon will be taken up again by the biosphere, but this is difficult to estimate in real and near real time. Okay, the very high and persistent levels of pollution in Indonesia and the marine content that CAM's forecast and models are undoubtedly a threat of human health, flora and fauna. So this is only one sample after the burn, yeah, huge of peat burns. And then also the other one, this is the after the burning, yeah. And then because of these smokes, yeah, and day by day, this is the case on 2015, because in our species, about 70 to 8%, 80%, the space or blanket with smokes, yeah. And sometimes we come at a big question why the color is different. Okay, sometimes we cannot make a differentiation. Is the fires or this day is at the morning or at the afternoon because look like almost the same. But sometimes the colors of the smokes is make us would like to know more. Then in our collaboration with NASA, we come to the Central Kalimantan. We would like to make sure what kind of gas is actually produced. So the US equipment is come from US. We collaboration with many university there, and also the fire laboratory, yeah. And then go to the ground. Actually, we have about more than 10 sites, around 12 different sites in order to recognize such kind of gases. So because again and again, this is the way to reduce the uncertainty. Yeah, even we would like to make sure the smoke is, because of burning or because of buffering of the water. Yeah, because below the ground, the water content is still high. So then only the top one is burning that produce smoke. So it means that maybe not all of the smoke is come from burning. Maybe they also come water vapors. This is investigate. Here is my colleagues from U.S. Forest Service, and we are together with Mark Cochran. And then this is the the result. Yeah, this published in Stockwell 2016. We got 90 gases, and we got also the gases that is very dangerous human being like furan and also hydrogen cyanides. Yeah, and then there is one the good example of I think is the good result. Yeah. Why? Because based on our research, finally we come to the conclusion to make revise to the IPCC calculation. Because based on our research done here, that finally we recognize that emission from Indonesia that calculated using IPCC is overestimated. For instance, like here, CO2 is more than 8% over the estimates, methane is 55%, and S3 is 86%, and CO minus 39%. Where does it come from? Here. Yeah, it is the amount calculation made by the IPCC, because you can see here, they use this combustion factor and also this one emission factor. Yeah, because both sometimes make confusing, and also make the calculation should be and full of certainty. Yeah, and the other one is burn depth, because you cannot make any a generalization of burn depth because it depends on where the burn is, especially on pit. Take a look here. Yeah, so for this one, I put the red one. This one is the depth of burn bit and also the combustion factor. And then here, the CF1 here, combustion factor, yeah, they use 1. So sometimes I ask why they use 1? Because the pit burn cannot be reach 1, maybe around 0.78 based on the research. And then this is, make what I said before, the emission is increased, okay? And the other one, they use the parameters look like, not based on the site it's happened. So just put here, when you burn a first fire, then you burn depth, use the generalization of 18 centimeter, sorry, not meter, but centimeter. So second, 11, etc. But here you see the combustion factor is still 1. How comes? Okay. And then here also, there is many emission factor conducting by research, different site, but you cannot, for instance, use data made by Christian that conducting research in Sumatra in 24, then you can use for Kalimantan, because we recognize that Sumatra and Kalimantan pit is different, okay? And then here also the pit dome, page mentioned is 0.25, Balhorn is 0.30, but there is no information regarding bull density. But the other one, they use this one. So you would like to see and use and reduce uncertainty. In my suggestion, our team's suggestion is that you should drill or how about the pit depth on this area, and also bull density, and also the combustion factor. Then you come conclusion, the area, the emission gas is come from that ones. For instance, like this story, yeah, this is the pit. For instance, this is the surface. So our scientists have the suggestion that your pile here, it means that coal is not a pit pile, but this is surface fire on pit. But it will be different where your pit burn, yeah, because this is dryers and the pit come here and burn here. So the emission will be different, okay? So sometimes this one also do not understand by researchers. Even when they ask to take sample from the burn pit, sometimes they cannot do it, yeah, because again and again you should understand about this. This is also the reason why there is uncertainty. For instance, this one, yeah. Because when you're dealing with the surface fire, will be different with ground fire. This is the surface fire around here, but the fire here and below is through the smoldering. Yeah, this one, yeah, this is taken when we got sample in Jambi, and then somebody using the thermo, and then taken from drone. We recognize, even you see there is no fire here, but here, this is the red one. This is credit for Professor Yulianto, my colleague from University of Indonesia. And again, as I said before, in 2016, our government come to the conclusion, in order to reduce the emission on pit, then we establish Badan Restorasi Gambut, pit resource area. This is the single story. This is the pit, and then this is burn here, be like this, and then here, this fire we burn this pit. So this is several centimeter of pit dome. So we come to solution to manage the canal, etc. For instance, we use our regulation here to block the canal and then make the groundwater level less than 40 centimeter. And then this is also the reason that actually has been published a couple years before we established the IRG, that rewetting of drain organic soils may reduce greenhouse gas emission and waterborne clauses. Rewetting is deliberate action of rising the water table and soil. And then rewetting can have several objectives. And the next, greenhouse gases in rewetted organic soil are controlled by a wide range of external and internal factors. And then this is, we are lucky because on Tuesday, our team leader, Mark Cochran, already make some segment here that he mentioned that Vietnam restaurant begin with improving the hydrology. Yeah, from here that the assistance of BRG assess the effectiveness of mitigation efforts through derivating and finally will reduce the fire. The paper we will publish soon, and the other ones, yeah. I also part of the team for the make a paper here. And this is the last one. Early indication are that BRG mitigation carbon show promise for reducing carbon emission from related wetland area. So it means the establishment of BRG and also blocking color, etc., also part of the solution to reduce the greenhouse gases. See here, this is only one example. This is real in Kuburaya in West Kalimantan, where this area is free from burning, from fires, but the other ones is, against the fires because this company, this corporation, they obey what the government regulation made. And then we continue our research in Jambi, Sumatra, etc. Yeah, this is Mark Oren, I think, Lailan, and Indra. You see here, yeah, and this one. I saw you the video, yeah, how they took a sample of the pit, the smoke from so they take directly from the pit burns, Okay, because of the time I will next. Yeah, this is equipment come from US. This is our sites. Yeah, and the other one we also conducting research about the link with the community, like mentioned by Chai before, community-based environment. We know that many alang-alang and many shrubs. I think this is a good idea to use the materials for this, yeah, coals, and then the urine can be used for the liquid fertilizers, and the biogas can use this one. So they don't care the increase of oil because they have their own system on it. And the other one, we can use the log that usually burn, but we can use to running this system, yeah, and then they will produce the electrical power. This is the electrical power wheel, yeah, and then they will produce electrics. For instance, like we have experience in one district in I forget in Bangka something, they can produce 7 to 8 megawatt. So this product can be used the whole district. So you don't have to burn it because you can use this to make a better production. And this one, yeah, this is only example. You can make the fertilizers or compost. You can make the briquettes, yeah. And finally, we cannot just say to the community, say, you cannot use this plant and we will penalty you. No, we ask them to work together with us for something like this. This is in West Kalimantan, in Pampawa. It's usually burned, but now, after we invite them, they changed it. They said, hey guys, there is no more fire in us. Now we are produced. There is possibility on it. This is in Siak, yeah, in Riau province. And also the other many, like I said in the beginning, we done many things for this one. Yeah, for instance, that this is what they did by the Forestry Environment and Innovation Agency. Yeah, they make also the research, even the information, typology of peatland, technology to have the penology, and etc. And finally, conclusions. The first, most of the fire occurs in tropical rainforest done by human beings that come from arson or carelessness. The second, previous research found that Indonesian forest fire management lacked useful data rooted in the forest fire research, making effective action against forest fire very weak. But now this already changed. The problem of forest and land fire that lead to increase in greenhouse gas emission is sometimes uncontrollable, which shows from the various problems that occur in it. And finally, I agree that it is impossible to only control in one way, but must be integrated with various aspects, including the political will of the government. You know, every year, our government or president have a meeting with all stakeholders, and then he remind that to seriously, managing the land And if finally somebody found guilty, there should be penalty, something like that. So many things. Yes, this is how seriously our government working with all the stakeholders to reduce the fire, and finally would like to reduce the greenhouse gas. Okay, and also not just directly translated from other countries' experience without any adjustment, because a couple years before, because we don't know how to solve problem, and then we use the international or the experience from other countries that not just it in their country, maybe yes, but Indonesia may be different. Okay, I think this all would like to share with you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Prof. Bambang, for such impressive talk. Please give our appreciation to Prof. Bambang. Thank you. So, ladies and gentlemen, before we move to the discussion session, why don't we have a photo session for our memory? So please turn your video on with smile. Please host to count. Okay, let's prepare. 1, 2, 3. Second slide, we have 10 slides here. Second slide. 1, 2, 3. Third slide. For third slide, 1, 2, 3. It's smile. Fourth slide. Fourth slide. Number there is. Okay. I think we finished with the photo session. Thank you very much to everyone. Don't forget to type your question on the chat room, your institution as well, and to whom your question be addressed. So now we are coming to the discussion session. I have seen some questions in the chat room. And here, question to Dr. Veerachai come from Mr. Ignatius Pepe. Dr. Veerachai, please describe briefly in general how is the condition of human pressure to the forest land in Thailand. So it appears that the community-based program that you described seems successful. I ask this because the pressure on forests in Indonesia is very high for various interests, both from local communities and other sectors. That's the first question to Dr. Veerachai. Second question from Dr. Asmadi from Jambi, I think, Jambi University. He mentioned that the problem is different in Thailand and Indonesia. For land preparation, oil palm plantation in Thai, not done by person, but by collective or corporation. But in Indonesia, every farmer family allowed land preparation by themselves, and some companies still preparation by burning. So what's your opinion about this? And the third question from Pak Nyoman Suryadiputra. He is a senior advisor of YLBA. The NBS or nature-based solution approach to fire prevention by retaining water in peatlands is being or will be promoted by international financial institutions, money lenders. I'm not sure that NBS will be a permanent solution to save peat and mitigate climate change. We have to be careful about accepting debt funds for efforts like this because the potential for sustainability is very small, and on the other hand, it will be a burden on taxpayers from the borrowers of the money. So what's your opinion about this? Yeah, this is for Dr. Veerachai.
Okay.
And question from to Pak Bambang. Any question? Question also from Pak Nyoman, from Pak Nyoman to Pak Prof Bambang. Pak Bambang, can you anticipate how long peatlands will still exist given the repeated peatlands fires? I think that's all the questions so far. Please, Dr. Veerachai and Prof Bambang to respond on this question. Please, Dr. Veerachai.
Yeah, okay. I guess you might have to bring up the question again. It's kind of long and I couldn't remember them. But the thing is, for the last question, yes, we are trying to do so in Thailand, in the southern Thailand, but we have very less peatland. In one, we have like 2 peatland, small one compared with Indonesia. One area has no problem for retaining water, but the other, we have a lot of conflicts with the people that trying to drain water out from the land and use them. So you have to get into the discussion with them that even though we block the water, but then they will try to find a way to open the water gate. Sometimes they destroy them, but we have the big one that blocked it, that like the big waterway out from the peatland. But still, for the agriculture in the area, they trying to request the government officer in the water management, irrigation department to open the gate and let the water out. You say in Krabi, it's different, yes. In Krabi, in the area that the Krabi province, the people manage those palm oil by themselves, and most of them, they own the land. They have the right to their land. So when they have this palm oil already, they're not burning at all. With like less. In Krabi, we have no fire at all. But the peatland not there, actually. The peatland in the eastern Thailand, I mean the east part of that southern Thailand, and the southern part close to Malaysia. So where you go is not the peatland. Okay, no peatland in Krabi. Maybe it's mangrove forest nearby, but not the peat forest over there. So that's to answer the question. Please bring up the first question again. About the community, yes, I think, right? Let's see, but I don't remember the whole thing.
I'm getting old.
It's kind of a long question, but related to the community. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, 3 questions.
Okay. Human pressure, okay. Well, we still have, but less, okay, believe it or not. If you look in Thailand, comparing, let's say upper ASEAN, you can see if you look in the, let's say, just you go into the NASA firms to look at the satellite perspective, you will see that the fire that has been detected by satellite are much less in Thailand than Laos, PDR, Myanmar, or Cambodia. Okay, so it's less now, not like the nearby country. And successful or not, seem successful. Yes, you can say seem. Not all of them successful. Okay, and we have a different pressure from uh, from our people here, different than Indonesia, for sure. But for here, the local community, we try to give them changing their behavior of cultivation, shifted cultivation. And now with the new law and with the long process that we have been trying, it's working, that the people doing less shift cultivation, like I said, they are doing rotation. They're not move. They used to be like 15 years rotation, like moving around, or 12 years, but now it reduced to 9 years some area, 7 years some area, and some area even 5 or 3 years to do this rotation crop. But you have to change the type of the crop in that particular area. They perhaps they do it for rice, one plot, and then the other plot you have to change. They have to change to do something else in order to generate income, so they can have money to buy something outside from the community, so they don't have to go do the slash and burn again, something like that. Trend to work. We try to talk with Laos PDR, the faculty of forest science, and they are also very interested to get the idea in Laos to work and then work together. Currently, I think they have a project from World Bank in Laos, and even AFOCO, I think AFOCO also give the funding to Laos PDR to do this community-based forest fire management. So in Laos, okay. The problem is Myanmar, I believe, because whenever you're talking about forest fire in Myanmar, they will say they don't have it. So you have to take it out. We can put like Myanmar has this problem. And then no, we don't have forest fire problem. So it's the mindset that you have to change. And one that we tried before, we tried to put the air quality station in Myanmar, and it turned out that the air quality that got measured very bad. So the next year they like, you get your air quality measurement station back because we don't want to know about this. And for Laos media, now we have 10 stations, a low-cost station that installed in Laos, and we will wait to see how it's gonna work in the next fire season. In Sumatra, we also having some, and through the Indonesian National Research Education Network, we send 10 low-cost air quality stations there to install in each the university. I don't remember, like 10 university, one each. And I saw one in Bandung, up and down. I don't know what happened. Two in Sumatra, and then the one I saw in the Kalimantan, I think, already up. So we'll see that all 10 up, and we will see the for that as well. Okay. The second question, that could be thing, and then done with the collected, okay, burning. Yeah, like I said, in Krabi, it's totally different. It's not a peatland, okay, and then the people own those land. Mostly they own those land, so they can, when they have palm oil already, because they converted from the rubber tree plantation. So when the palm oil came along, they changed from rubber tree plantation to this palm oil. And when you have this palm oil already in place, usually people don't not burn it. So, but after I don't know how many years, 15, 20 years, they have to cut them down and replant. The problem is that in Thailand, we still don't know how to use those product or well timber from the palm oil, how to use to do like furniture, to do something is not good enough yet. So that's also another problem that we need to solve. Okay, is that all to answer? Okay.
There is one more question.
Yeah. This one I like I said in the first that the retaining water in the peatland. That's the way. You have water in the peatland, more likely you don't have peat fire. Okay, most of the time, but it's difficult because the way we practice it, we drain the water out of the land. So it's actually it's my perspective. It's a land use conflict. And in Thailand, we have couples of projects that provide financial support to the people. But eventually, with the law, which is not changing yet, that if there is a degated land, people can go in and utilize those land. So by draining out water, is imply in a way that that land are degraded. Then people can later go in and use the land, and then can be an owner of the land later, something like that. The law has to change, but it's not changing yet. And to say this that the is it careful about accepting debt fund? The fund, I don't know. In Thailand, we don't. When it's gone, it's gone. It's not like gonna be debt to anybody at all. When you spend that, that's all. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Veerachai, for your response. Very impressive. Now I would like to welcome Prof. Bambang to respond on the question from the participants. Please, Prof. Bambang.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Lailan. This is challenge question number one. I know Pak Nyoman is my close friend working with BRG. Yes, this is actually the challenge questions, not only for me, but all of us. Because you see, when the pit burns, they will depend on the dryness of the condition and also the groundwater level there. Based on my experience, yeah, in one time when you burn it, maybe the burn pit depth maybe 10 centimeter, maybe more. Yeah, and then usually they follow with subsidence. The other research, we found that 3 meters pit depth burn need 20 years, but now maybe it's faster than that. Actually, the existence of pit is not only depend on peatland fires, because we have also problems in several areas like in Bengkalis, yeah, because the area has been dropped, something like that, it gone. Then we recognize, oh, now we lost our pit, something like that. So it means that I agree this is a challenge question. It's depend on us. We would like to anticipate the loss of pit, then we work together. We cannot depend on the government. But the government, for instance, like BRG, then continue with BRG, then is one of the one good example, because they can show us that based on the my presentation, they show that there is possibility to reduce the fires and finally to reduce the emission, and they keep pit itself to be, lost because of burning and because of subsidence. Because we try to return back the habitat or the ecosystem pit to be like an original. And this is, I think, is one good solutions. Again, this is challenge. Actually, it's not for me only, but for us, because when you're dealing with fires, this is our responsibility. Okay. And second one, for Pak Ignatius Pepe, yes. Do you believe that finally we can find technology and technical solution that can solve them? Yes, I agree. In the morning, I become the external examiner for PhD. He is the police expert. I'm sorry, he's the police officer. He is the general. But now he got the PhD link with the case of forest fires and environmental. You can see, many people don't believe this kind of movement comes. So I think I'm agree that we can have the technology and technical solution, but sometimes you see the public feel that everything could be finished in 1 or 2 years because we link with natural. We cannot get soon the result like we have experienced BRG. Yeah. Then finally we got a report that soon will be published. Actually, already published online with Xiaomeng Liu. Is the PhD graduate, PhD candidate from the South Dakota State University. So the results, there is possibility. So in my opinion, my view of thinking based on our result, I'm sure that we will have this technology and also the solution, but we cannot get it in in directly because it takes time to make sure. Because when we supply, we cannot put just only in laboratory because we're dealing with the community with different characteristic of human there. I think that's all, Lailan. Dr. Lailan is my answers to the question.
Okay, thank you very much, Prof. Bambang. We have still have time. We still have time. So if you have any question or comments, please raise your hand or type down in the chat room. Oh yes, we have here Dr. Ma. He is the officer in charge Division of Forest Management of ITTO. Please, Dr. Ma, to use your time. He asked to Pak Bambang about rewetting of peatland areas. Perhaps you could raise your comments by yourself, please, Dr. Ma. Or maybe I can read his question. Rewetting of peatland areas looks also an important strategy. What would be key problems when rewetting is proposed? What kind of timber plantation species or agroforestry can be promoted in rewetted peatlands? The question from Dr. Ma to Prof. Bambang. Please, Prof. Bambang.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Lailan, and also the good question, Dr. Ma. This is actually the question emerged when for the first time we launched, Indonesia government launched the Peraturan Pemerintah number 71 in 2014. Because on that regulation, we asked the groundwater level is less than 40%. Actually, those kind results is based on the research that been done for many times. I don't know. I don't remember, maybe 20 or 30 years integrated peatland in Kalimantan. And I think Dr. Indra, one of the team for that. Even in Thursday, we have discussed of it. Yeah, then this is the reason why the conclusion that revetting must be one of the solution. But the problem is many people complain. Why? For instance, like from the acacia and also from the oil palm, they said that if we follow your regulation, how about our plantation? It might be die because the pit is so wet, something like that. No, we got already the result and already published by SPO themselves. Because if you convert the level less than 40%, your production is still high. Yeah, so I think this is no problem. This is also what's apply in the pulp and paper. So it's no problem. Yeah, and then the other ones, following the revetting, we also make the second step. That is the revegetation. Yeah, we planting it. We have also many experience, not only for the plant or for the plantation, for the commercial, but also for the local peoples. And then finally, the last one is the revegetation, the revitalization. Can you imagine? Yeah, I have experience when I went to the Jambi, when the people there working on pit and do not use fire, every month those kelompok tani, I mean the farmers unit, can produce more than 20 ton of honeybee. And other places in West Kalimantan, they can produce 1,000 every month they can get the money 15 million rupiah. They don't have to burn. But again, they should start from the beginning to manage the canal following the regulation. For instance, like they monitor ground water level less than 40, and then they check it because we have also the system like Sipalaga and Sesame. So I think in my suggestion, we can run this one, and of course there will be no problem for the plantation because there is also a plantation, or I mean the trees that could be planted at the peatland that still have a more productive and also the money. I went already check it in Sumatra and Kalimantan for to make sure for this one. I think I hope I can answer your question, Dr. Ma. Sorry if it's not satisfied you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Prof. Bambang. Well, we still have time to go.
Excuse me, perhaps I would like to add
Okay,
something.
please. Dr. Veerachai.
Regarding the condition of peat fire, in 2 years ago when we had it in the southern Thailand, because of the dry condition and degraded peat forest, so it became kind of a, I don't know in English, a paper tree, and it's getting so dry. So from the ground fire and surface fire, it became cloud fire, which is like when I saw it, like, oh, this is changing too much now because of the condition. But luckily that this, like in last year and this year perhaps, we got more rain in Indonesia and southern Thailand, and even this year we get more rain up in the north. That's why in forest fire in Thailand this year during the dry season of the northern Thailand, less. But in the peatland, we monitor it like Bambang said that we have like the sensor to monitor the level of the groundwater, and up to now they're still okay. But what about in the future? I don't know. But with the changing of they call the Indian dipole also affect not the El Nino and La Nina anymore, to have more rain in the southern, like in Indonesia and southern Thailand. So this is another factor that we need to understand, not just to look at the El Nino and La Nina only. So just a thought.
I can add something, Dr. Lailan, if you don't mind.
Yes, please, Pak Bambang.
I can read all the question made by Dr. Ma. So what is the key problem when you're dealing with this? What's the, key problem when rewetting is proposed? Yes, do not let the pit dry. So then we have a mechanism on it. For instance, like Indonesia, even we put it already in Ministry of Environment Policy Regulations. So from there, we know using the sesame, or we use this another system, Indonesian system, so that we can monitor, for instance, like groundwater less than 40%. So from there, then we can make sure that if our groundwater level more than 40, like 50, then you should do something to make it better, for instance, like less than 40. So we have sesame, we have sipalaga, and those things is to monitor. And then again, like I said 2 days ago, and also with Dr. Lailan, we have discussed it in international webinar. Do not play the game with the peatlands. So because peatland is not the dry land. This is, it's come from the wet, so it should better to make it at originals. I think that's all I would like to add, Dr. Lailan. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Prof. Bambang. I think there is also one question from Dr. Man need to be responded about what kind of timber plantation species or agroforestry can be promoted in the wetted peatlands. Maybe about paludiculture, maybe Prof. Bambang can explain about how paludiculture developed in Indonesia.
Yes, I think the expert here, Dr. Nyoman, maybe Dr. Nyoman to explain, share with us, Pak Nyoman, your experience with paludiculture, if you don't mind. Pak Nyoman, maybe Pak Nyoman, if he's still here, it's because he has, spent many time working on the paludiculture in Indonesia. Maybe he can give what the explanation better than me. Pak Nyoman? Hello, Pak Nyoman? Are you here? Pak Nyoman? You're still mute. Please unmute, Pak Nyoman. Pak Nyoman, you would like to share with us?
Yeah,
okay.
Now I can say something.
Okay.
So thank you very much, Dr. Ma. Yeah, currently we have a project in North Sumatra in the very deep pit. We are working with the local communities in one village, so where the paludiculture is being developed. Actually, paludiculture, it is a good term. It's easy to say, but when you are going to implement it, it is not something that easy. Why? Because if the pit it is already severely degraded, so what does it mean? Severely degraded, it means it's already inundated, permanently flooded. So once the peatland ecosystem already changed from the peatland into, let's say, a water body ecosystem or lake ecosystem, nothing you can do regarding the rehabilitation. What you can do maybe to convert the activities from plantation into fishery. So that's what currently we are doing in North Sumatra. We block all the canals in the community land. We rewetted the peatland. We block the canal, and in between the fragmented of the canal that we block, we introduce what we call it a floating net cages for fishery, aquaculture. It was very interesting. Yeah, because the field structure currently is quite promising in terms of the productivity. But at the other side, we also introduce to the local community before the area becoming severely degraded or let's say subsided. Yeah. So we already now introduced 3 species. So we are introducing 3 species, the sago, the rattan, and the other one is the jelutong. But of course, this polyculture species, they takes time, let's say 5 years at least, yeah, before you can harvest it. Let's say like the jelutong latex, you can harvest it, then the latex might be after 5 or 7 years old. But the local community still need cash very soon. So what kind of cash activities that we can introduce is aquaculture. So that means it's a very good way if you can integrate the rehabilitation of the peatland in terms of the rewetting the peatland with the aquaculture and with the polyculture. So if we are too late, we cannot do anything. So that's what my first question, I raised the issues because currently what I heard, there's a big intention of the international financial organization would like to invest money in terms of debt for the peatland rewetting. So I'm very, very worried, Pak Bambang. You know why? Because now the world is big. I would say the world now is panicking. They are panicked because the climate change. We would like to maintain the temperature below 1.5 centigrade. So a lot of interest from the donors, yeah, to mitigate the issues of the climate change. Yeah. And yesterday I got invitation from the company in Kalimantan. 2 big oil palm companies. They have problems now with the inundations of the plantation because of the subsidence of the pit. So now the area is inundated. It's permanently flooded. So what shall we do? So that's why my question: how long will peatland will remain exist? Because it is not because of the repeated fires, but also the subsidence and also because of the oxidation microbiologically. So that's my explanation. Thank you very much.
Oke, thank you Pak Nyoman.
You're welcome, Pak.
Silakan Bu Lailan.
Thank you very much, Pak Nyoman, for the challenging comments and information, which is important for us to know. Well, we still have time to discuss. If you have any question or comments, please raise your hand. Yes. Oh yes, I think Dr. Asmadi from Jambi University would like to add some more comments. Please, Pak Asmadi.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Bu Lailan. No, stop dulu. I appreciate to Veerachai and Prof. Bambang. Yeah, Prof. Bambang, we have a lot of the experience to restoration of peatlands with the rewetting, revegetation, and revitalization. The most important here is the aware of the people, of Indonesian people. It's different with Thailand. Thailand is by the king. Say A, the people go out. But Indonesia, the government say A, the people choose C. It's different, huh? Different concept of the mind, I think. We see many people, government of Indonesia cannot show the example can follow by the farmer. Jelutong, we have produced jelutong, who will to buy it? How the farmer can sell it? We make the lots of anything the government do, but cannot give example, the very good example, economical, yes, biophysical, and environment. I think it's very important for the future. If not, just spend a lot of money, many problems maybe appear. Yeah, I think, thank you very much. Mr. Bambang, we have a lot of experience. We go to nowhere in the Kalimantan, Sulawesi, and Sumatra. We see a lot of the area of the company burn it, especially for oil farm. is the problem. Why? They didn't understand about that, or they really do not want to do the better. Yeah, I think. Thank you, Lailan.
Yes, thank you, Dr. Asmadi. He based in Jambi, yeah. So a lot of field work and a lot of field experience. Any comments or question from the audience? Perhaps comments from Pak Tetra from ITTO?
I have a question for Pak Bambang regarding regarding the monitoring, the emission monitoring that you talk with Mark Hallington. Is that when you discuss did you discuss to the further collaboration to working with him, or you just asking for information? The thing I'm asking because I have been working with him for I think now it's 5 years now to monitor the upper ASEAN by country. So just want to know more. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Kai. Okay, I heard the information come from camps is when I joined the COP in Madrid, Spanyol. I'm here also with Pak Barita Manulang. Selamat sore, Pak Barita. We were together in COP in Madrid, Spanyol, and for the first time, I heard from Vice President US, Al Gore said, "Hey, Indonesia, be careful, because your greenhouse gas is increased." This is on December 2019. Okay, and we're surprised. How comes? Then we follow we finally recognize that it's come from publication press release made by camps. So I don't know these guys. So I communicate with my colleagues. One professor in University of Montana. He's leading expert for the emission, Professor Bob Ukelson. And also I communicate with Professor Mark Cohen. I said that, how can I get more information regarding these ones? I would like to know more about the methodology, etc. And finally, I contact with Mark Pennington. So this is part of the communication, Chai, but it's not yet for the collaborations. Because,
Okay.
if you would like to invite us, of course, join.
The thing is, we have been doing with asking him to help in the past 5 years, but it's kind of time for us to do it ourselves. So in the past, 2 years now, we're trying to do it ourselves, but not good as he can do. But we are in the process of doing it for Upper ASEAN, but would like to expand out to Indonesia as well to cover everything. Which the thing is, you can do it daily. That he can do, because Mark did it for Cambodia down to district level. That he can extract the information to show each day how much emission from different species. I mean, different emission that camp global fire assimilation service can provide. So it's just like very, very good information to have daily. So comparing with the past, let's say 16 years, 17 years, that today the satellite can detect your emission double, like it can show now in Siberia. That what is the Mark doing? It's like much more than previously 17 years average, something like that, which is like could be like alert that, hey, you are you are too much now, something like that. Yeah. Okay, we can talk more later then.
Okay, thank you, Chai. Okay, thank you, Bu Lailan.
Thank you.
Ya, Bu Laila, Tetra saya, Bu.
Oh yes, please, Pak Tetra, please.
Thank you, Pak Bambang, for your excellent presentation. I just want to ask a small question, but it's really interesting. I took note one of your conclusion that you said that it's impossible to control the forest fire only through one way, and you said that need integration with various aspects, including political will of the government, and also not to replicate or just to copy other countries' experience without any adjustment. That is very clear. But my question will be on the what is actually the situation right now? Because from reading from different sources, I think the political will, especially promoted by the Ministry of Environment and Forestry, that they are very high call on this forest fire issue, as well as the number one in Indonesia, the president, through several instructions. I want to have your further clarification on that issue. What do you mean by multiple ways? Yeah, because you are not suggesting only one way. What will be the multiple ways in addition to the political will?
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Traitras. It's a good question, a challenging questions. You see, I spent many time for more than 20 years in the ground. So I met also with several kind of the officials, and also since the year 2000, I'm working in investigation with the police and also with the Ministry of Environment and Forestry. So the problem sometimes when you're dealing and working with local peoples, I mean local government or local and provincial level, sometimes they have, you know, the view of thinking difference. You see, for instance, like you have something in the prone fire area in one district, for instance. I have many complaints to them. Hey guys, you know, every year fires in your site. The government only decided blah blah blah. Why don't you follow? Because this is very important for you and your environments and also your people. He said, hey, Pak Bambang, if I have money, if I have budget, that might be our first priority. But the problem now in our district, there is not a priority. Why? Because our budget is very small. So in our district, the first one is maybe the health. Second one is maybe education. And then the third one, blah, blah, blah. And the fifth or the five maybe enforced fires. The other ones, the Bupati said, we already submit the proposal for getting budget from the parliament. But they said, no, we have no money. So what can we do? I would like to say with you, but now this is the problems. So this is the reason why that sometimes, you know, the regulation, the central sometimes do not have the same perception in the ground. This is number one. The second one, when we dealing with the investigations, yeah, this is quite unique. Why? Because we know this is against the environmental law, but the other ones, this investigator do not use the regulation because they said if I use the regulation, then how about the future of these guys? Yeah, because maybe they will put 2 3 years in the jail. Who will feed them? So they use the other regulation. For instance, like use peraturan daerah, etc. and sebagainya, etc. But we know this is extraordinary crimes. You see, because they produce huge of emissions, cause environmental destruction, even maybe the problem. So this is, I said that the role of the governments and also the involved all sectors should be together. And the other ones, because today I spend more time on pits, you see, since we have government regulation number 71 2014 that they stated already the pit could be occupied used for commercial with pit depth less than 3 meters. And then you should have the groundwater level less than 40 centimeter. It means that if finally your peatland is more than 3 meters, then should be kicked off out of those area because it already categorized as the conservation area. And then the company complained. How comes? We already run this one. We facilitate the many workers, thousands we are producing, and then the company did not agree with this regulation. Then they against the ministers. I remember in December 2017, I was invited in one of the experts because this giant company did not agree with this. Finally, the decision is they reject the sue by this company because use the regulations. This is to save everybody. And then if finally your peatland is more than 3 meters out, then the government will replace this with other side. But the problem sometimes this money, this land is already, used for other investment, or borrow or rent something. So this is the reason why I said like that, Pak Dr. Tetra, because sometimes when you go to the ground, everything's come to you. And then as a scientist, then we should link with actually what kind of regulations. Okay, I hope I can answer your question. And the second one, regarding the not adjustment, because we have experience. I remember that when I returned from Japan, we have a problem in 97, 98 fires. And then the official, because maybe they don't understand about how to solve the problem, and they took directly the operation or the management or everything from other country. That's success. But please remember, those models that have been done is at temperate. It will be different with us in Indonesia with the tropical. So maybe we should adjust first. Then we can run and adapt it with Indonesian situation. Then we can use that as our Indonesian style. That's all, Pak Dr. Tetra. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Pak Bambang. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Prof. Bambang and Dr. Tetra. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it seems that our discussion become warmer and warmer. Unfortunately, it's time for us to end this discussion session. So thank you very much to our distinguished speakers today, Dr. Veerachai Tanpipat and Professor Dr. Bambang Saharjo for their peatland management and political issues related to forest fires. Well, the important things is we have shared our information, experience among us, not only from the speakers, but also from the participants. Really great webinar. And this is good for us to share each other, and this webinar will be continued to the next webinars, and maybe from different countries will also share. So before we come to the closing, may I have attention please? There is an announcement from the committee that all the materials in this webinar series will be published in the National Journal of Tropical Silviculture as a special edition and also proceeding. So we welcome those participants who has papers related to this webinar topic to submit your papers. The author guidance and contact has been sent in the chat room, and we receive your papers not later than 4th October this year. So please do not hesitate to contact us, and we expect your contribution to this journal. And well, ladies and gentlemen, time flies so fast. So we come to the end of our webinar today. We have learned about the holistic combination approaches of community-based fire and water resources management, and the integration of the indigenous knowledge with the technology, modern technology, and also the importance of fire research-based policy and multi-stakeholder partnership as the key for effective forest management. And of course, there is also we need to also highlight the issue of peatland and fire as the combined issues which supported to each other and need to be enhanced and to be addressed for minimizing the fire in our region. So I do hope that all of you have a better understanding on forest and land fire prevention, and may our collaboration will be strengthened to provide solution for the transboundary haze pollution problem in our region. Your contribution means a lot to achieve haze-free ASEAN, of course. As the moderator, I'm pleased to thank to all of you, the speakers and the encouraging participants in this webinar for your very active contribution and fruitful discussion. I should apologize for any inconvenience during this webinar. Thank you very much. Until we meet again in the next webinar series with the interesting topics and as the solution to our problem in the region. Thank you very much. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon and good evening to everyone.
Thailand,
Thank you, Veerachai.
Bambang.
Terima kasih.
Thank you very much.
It's my love for you.